So I guess this is that video, eh? We were talking about the Evander Kane stuff and how I was going to talk about Marc Bergevin and the Montreal Canadiens, but hey, they saved me the preparation and ended up doing it anyway. So yesterday, this was the word that we had in the middle of the Canadiens and the Penguins game, that in which they actually won. Scott Mellanby resigned as the assistant GM of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, why exactly did this happen in the middle of a game? I don't know, but it happened, and this was kind of the word that we had. Mellanby was promised he would be the next GM of the Canadiens. Ownership recently changed their minds, and I guess what Strickland is implying here is that that may be part of the reasoning as to why Mellanby himself resigned, rather than just let himself get quote-unquote fired. Because when it comes to firings, hey, guess what? Firings have happened today. Let's move this tab over here and talk about the hockey management changes within the Montreal Canadiens organization. Bergevin, Timmins, Paul Wilson, all fired. And this happened about 2 hours ago, and I was sleeping, so apologies for that. Jeff Molson, owner, president, and chief executive officer of the Club du Hockey Canadien. I did not realize that was the French thing. Yeah, sorry, Club du Hockey Canadien, something like that. He has announced that Bergevin, Trevor Timmins, assistant GM, as well as Paul Wilson, senior vice president, public affairs and communications, they've all been relieved of their respective functions, effective immediately. A process to recruit as soon as possible the team's next GM is underway, while the next GM will bring significant hockey expertise to the organization. An additional criterion of that person's role will be able to communicate with the fans in both French and English. I know some people really do value the fact that Montreal is a French-speaking part of the world, and they really do place emphasis on that when they say that the Canadiens should be hiring people that can speak French. Other people also have the perspective where it's like, okay, but does that mean you're going to limit potential candidates just because they cannot speak French? Or does this mean if you have a candidate on the crosshairs, you would force them to speak French? It's an entirely other new debate. You can go ahead and talk to me in the comments what your opinion is on that. I'm just the bearer of the news saying that this criteria, it does indeed exist for this search. To assure the continuity of day-to-day hockey operations during this process, Mr. Molson has retained the services of Jeff Gorton, former New York Rangers guy, who will serve as Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations. So there you go. Jeff Gorton, former Rangers guy, he's being brought in here with the Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations label. Now, what exactly does that entail? We'll see. We'll give it a little bit of time because I don't really know anybody else in the NHL who has had this title. We have seen guys who are president of hockey operations, etc., but never really vice president, nor have I really seen executive vice president. So for Jeff Gorton, we'll see where exactly he goes with this. Going over back on to Jeff Molson, though, on behalf of myself and the organization, I wish to thank Marc Bergevin, Timmins, and Wilson for their passion and engagement towards our club the last few years. Their relentless work allowed our fans to experience many memorable moments, including last summer's playoff run that culminated with the Stanley Cup Finals. We wish them all success they deserve in the pursuit of their careers. However, that time has come for a leadership change within our organization and our hockey operations department that will bring a new vision and should allow our fans and partners to continue cheering for a championship team. Okay, championship team. I don't know about that. This is what Bergevin said. The statement released by him a little bit afterwards. Hello to all. Saying farewell to an organization like the Montreal Canadiens is not an easy thing to do. I want to leave the organization in the same way I came in, with a lot of pride. If there's one word that comes to mind right now, it is thanks. And it's a very long statement. I read this earlier, very heartfelt. You can go ahead and read Marc Bergevin's heart and soul kind of representation all on this article. I'll leave a link in the description to this, as well as the regular statement here on the Canadiens website. But that's it, eh? Marc Bergevin is done, and if you go ahead and take a look at the next parts, okay, Ducharme is appearing to be done as well, too. It is just a matter of time before he gets fired as well. We have ourselves a few other tweets going over the entire thing right here. Also this, since the arrival of Trevor Timmins in 2003, the Canadiens are the only NHL team not to have drafted a player who has scored 70 points in one season, either in Montreal or with another team afterwards. We're discussing it this evening at the Antichambre from 7 p.m. on the airways of RDS Canada. So there you go. I mean, say what you want about the Montreal Canadiens and the people that were running the club. Their drafting wasn't really all that great, but they did make themselves a time, and they did allow themselves to go out here with a bang with the Stanley Cup Finals and whatnot. So for Marc Bergevin, of course, it does suck to see somebody lose their jobs. For me personally, it is going to be kind of frustrating because Marc Bergevin was always so adamant and so persistent when it came to making trades and making acquisitions to make the team better and all that stuff. I've said it this entire time, man, but when it comes to making videos, trades are the best thing that you can do because those get super hyped up and everybody wants to know, okay, what happened? Who got traded? What's the deal here? Bergevin did that a lot, and for me personally, as a content creator and as a fan of the Canadiens that watch this team for the entertainment value, it was great seeing the Canadiens go out there and do a lot. So, I don't know, depending on who the next GM is going to be, if the Canadiens are going to be able to make trades and do all that stuff a lot again, but either way, Bergevin left himself a legacy that culminated with a Stanley Cup final defeat, so very good for him, very good for the crew as well. But let me know in the comments, what's next for the Canadiens? Who do you think should be next after Bergevin? Trevor Timmins, as well as Wilson, all got fired from their jobs, not to mention Mellanby resigning yesterday. What do you think Jeff Gorton's job is going to be over here, and how well do you think he's going to do at that? Do you have confidence in the Canadiens? Do you like the rule that the next GM needs to be able to speak French and English? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Trolls 99. And bye.